Best performer 24 years, first pageant, Mystique with Illusions. Hello. I can see you, but I can't hear you.
Got it. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm good. It's just, girl, it's been one full day.
I believe likewise.
And then I have one more after you, and then I'm gonna shower and hit the bed.
Oh yeah, because it's kind of late. Well, not too late on your end, but yeah, kind of.
Yeah. So how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm good. We're going to start off light with the show. I'm trying not to talk to script the show. We don't want the show scripted, so it'll be just random questions that I ask you, and you can be as honestly as possible, and then make this your story. This is not about me. This is about you and how you can educate and inspire others.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay? It's very simple. It'll be about 25, 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll first start off with just introducing the show, and then I'll introduce you. Okay?
Okay.
Now, let
Can
me
you
just.
see me okay?
Yeah, I can see you fine. If you want a little more light on you, will be good. But I think otherwise, that's good. Just put a lamp or something in front of you.
Right. Let me see.
Or next to you.
Give me a sec.
That's better. Little better. Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
Okay.
When we're being visible, we have to make sure that we're visible.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
All right, so we're gonna start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Pronoun TV and the Stephanie Stevens Show. I'm very excited tonight on the show. We have the fabulous Miss Summer Breeze, the pageant queen herself. She's fantastic. Fantastic. I've watched her for years in the Miss Continental pageant. As you know, coming up this September is Continental weekend, and all of the girls are looking forward to that. So I'm really excited tonight to have Miss Summer Breeze on the show. She is the reigning Miss Royal Continental Plus, the reigning Miss Royal Continental Plus. That's Miss Summer Breeze. So welcome to the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Where are you hailing from?
I am in Palm Springs, California.
Okay. Oh, Oscars is up there, the big bar Oscars.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is that where you were born and raised?
No, actually, I'm born and raised in East St. Louis, Illinois, which is right across the river from St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay. Now, we know Continental Weekend is a big part of the lot of the performers, the entertainers, the drag performers, and a lot of the trans women who participate in Continental. We know that weekend is coming up, and I'm excited that you are representing Royal Continental, and I'm excited to actually see you again because you are an amazing entertainer. You really are.
Thank
And
you.
I'm not just saying that because you're on my show. I've watched you for years. You're excellent, and you're very professional, and that's what I like.
Thank you. I appreciate
And
it.
we were going over the list, and she said, I would like for you to put this girl on the show. So I didn't know who she was talking about. Then I saw your name.
Oh,
And then that's why we reached out to you. So tonight, Miss Summer Breeze, as you know, we are all looking forward to Continental. And during this pandemic time, it's very hard for a lot of the girls to get the resources that they're used to getting from back in the days with either work or traveling around doing different shows to gather up the funds and the support system that they need to be fantastic in Continental, because you know Continental is the premier pageant to win. Now, what is it about Miss Royal Continental that we should look forward to this coming up September for Continental Weekend? What should we look forward from Miss Summer Breeze?
well, I would like to think that you're going to get a more intentful version of Summer Breeze. I would say that I'm probably guilty of being one of those people that like to have fun in pageantry, which is okay. But at some point, you got to take things seriously in order for things to really come to fruition. So I would say that that's one of the main things that I have made my mission this year, is to be more intentful with my movements and the things that I do. So it's just like really important for me to present as always, I've always tried my best to present a strong package, but this year I'm coming a little more intentful, and I hope that's something that is conveyed to not only the judges, but also to the audience.
Mm-hmm. Now, being in pageants for many, many years, like you said you've been in, sometimes we always feel that we're sometimes the underdog, because you hear who's entering the competition and what the promoter is looking for, or the producer is looking for, what type of girl he's looking for that year, depending on the direction of where the pageant and where he wants the pageant systems to go.
Right.
And because each year the pageant system have to change and go in a new directions to keep it interesting and fresh.
That's true.
And he needs new girls with brand new ideas or creative ideas to sort of help, finesse his vision of where he wants Continental to be.
Correct.
Now, what is the most difficult thing that you have found being a contestant in Miss Continental? Because we know the dressing rooms aren't the best. We know getting from the hotel to the venue is not the best.
Well, the accommodations, I guess I've run in Continental so long to the point where I'm used to it, so it doesn't really bother me. It probably should bother me, but it doesn't. I generally, when it was at the Park West, because it's not at the Park West this year, but when it's at the Park West, I try to go upstairs. The dressing room upstairs seems to me to be a little more spacious and a little more forgiving. So the only downside is the stairs that you have to go up and down in high heels. So, but outside of that, I've always come to this pageant for some reason. I've always gone to major pageants feeling like I was the underdog. I don't know why, but I just, I don't think that a lot of people know who I am because I don't perform a lot. Although I do work with a lot of the entertainers in the industry, by making clothing, I don't do a lot of performing. So the access to Summer Breeze is not always there. But, I try to go to this pageant with a great attitude. I go to this pageant with the frame of mind that it doesn't matter about the accommodations, how, getting to the venue or all of that. I'm so used to that. Matter of fact, I kind of expect it. It makes me feel like I'm actually in a pageant when I'm there. Continental runs like this. And a lot of times people are not accustomed to that. When they come from other systems, I got my grit at Continental. So I started with the fast pace, so when I go to other systems, it's like, oh my goodness, they so slow, but so I kind of expect all of that.
Wonderful. Now, I know I'm going to ask a couple of questions that I think are tough, but she wrote these down and thought we should ask these questions. And I think they're relevant to Continental and to yourself as a contestant. Now, when you look at the panel of judges, we looked at the panel of judges for the last few years before she decided to get me to ask these questions. And we want to ask the tough questions because we want people to really understand Continental and understand what the girls go through and what they're really expecting. We know that the girls in general are expecting a good pageant. They want to compete. But when you go out and you face the judges, what are you really thinking? Because we looked at the last 5 videos and we watched the contestants in each category and we watched their expressions. And we sometimes could see that the expressions on their face was different than the way they felt when they thought they looked. Is it the interaction between the way they think the judges are looking at them and not really approving or of them? Because a lot of the girls go out with the confidence, but we can see when they hit the runway and they get to the end of the runway and they're feeling grand and great, but then you can see a change automatically in their posture or either their face from, I guess, what they're reading from the judges. Have you ever felt you were either you froze up or you were reading something different from the judges when you got to the end of the runway?
To answer that question honestly, when the judges have great poker faces. I would only imagine that the reason why you're seeing a contestant have a different demeanor once they get down to, down the catwalk, I think that may have something to do with the audience response,
Okay.
and if the audience is not giving them anything, that might shake a girl up,
Okay.
which especially because you have to also keep in mind we're lined up right at the stage.
Mhm.
So let's say I'm contestant number 6 and I hear them going crazy for contestant number 5. Then
Mhm.
I walk out on stage as contestant number 6, and the audience is zilch, very
Uh,
quiet and that might shake me up. Like, oh, maybe I'm not. Something
uh,
is going wrong.
I'm not
So
kidding.
yeah, definitely. So I think it's different reasons as to why you get that change of expression on a girl's face when she gets down that catwalk, because you're only on that stage for a small portion of time. So, you got about that much time to impress and entertain, because it may not be talent, it may be swimsuit, but you still need to entertain.
Mhm.
That's our job. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Now, one quick question: as Miss Royal Continental Plus, what you have a great support system here,
Mhm.
I would think, with the promoters and the producers. You guys are on great communication levels to
Yes.
understand what Summer Breeze is going to bring to the competition, to not just to win the pageant, but to bring home the title to the system, Miss Royal Continental Plus, to give the girls something to look up to. Now, what is the most difficult part of going to the pageant? What is the most difficult part of being in Continental?
I would say there is never, and you probably could ask that question to 1,000 girls. I don't think that there is ever enough money.
Mhm.
Like when when you think, sometimes I be thinking, boy, I'm gonna be good here and here and here, and then something will always pop up, and it's like, boy, I could really use an extra $300 or $400. so,
Mhm.
so I would say that there is never enough money. Aside from the financial part of it, preparation in itself is difficult, because you have to keep in mind that while you're preparing, you got 20 some other girls preparing as well. And you're trying your best to edit, as best as possible to make sure that you're actually going to put the best things on stage. You're going to take the best everything to present to the judges, because you're not the only one preparing. And no
Mhm.
matter how good your support system is, someone else may have an even better support system. So, so that's not lost on me. I struggle. My support system is very small, um, you know, but we do what we can do to put my best foot forward.
Mhm. Now, I want to talk about this for a minute because she mentioned it here on the paper. Roxy Andrews talked something about Continental being cookie cutter. As a past Miss Continental Plus, she spoke about that last year, about Continental being cookie cutter. What do you think?
Isn't every pageant, like, we all know what every system expects?
Mhm.
And I don't know if Roxy Andrews meant that as a negative, or she was just saying it in general. I do recall the incident, or the
Mhm.
moment she said it. I recall that. But every system has its expectation, and we go to
Mhm.
those systems. We're tethered to those systems for those expectations. Um, and sometimes you'll notice that if we deviate and go to a different system that we're not usually going to, we seem
Mhm.
a little lost, like we seem a little lost in the forest, because we are. because that system has its flavor, just like Continental has its flavor. And I think it's our job as, people who compete to really find what system shapes us best, what system fits us best. So I don't think it's a negative if in fact Continental is cookie cutter. I don't take it as a negative, but I will add this. There have been some contestants that have won Continental that were very unique in their own way, to a point where you would say they made Continental buy what they were selling. And I think that's impressive, because that lets you know that Continental is not stuck. Even if they're cookie cutter, they're not stuck. They're not opposed to accepting something different, So I think all of these systems have the ability to be cookie cutter, but I think at the same time, you want to be a part of a system that's not stuck into that cookie cutter framework.
Now, let's say this. Let's say Miss World Continental, Summer Breeze, won Miss Continental this weekend. Let's say you won Miss Continental Plus coming up. What would be your first thing you would do? Because social media is huge now. What would be your first thing you would do? Because you say Summer Breeze is not really known. So for you to be Miss Continental, that's not very well known, what would Summer Breeze, Miss World Continental Plus, do in her first week of duties?
I would say the first thing that I would truly want to do is to introduce access to myself to people, introduce access to myself to promoters. I think that we definitely need to get more promoters involved into the system, because without those prelims, there is no rain. I could win all day long, and if there's no prelims to go to, then there's no rain there. So it's important that I reach out to those individuals who are interested in being promoters, and some of those individuals who may have been promoters in the past, and try to, bring them back into the fold. But the main thing is to give access to myself, because a lot of times I think that people have preconceived notions about folks that they don't have access to. And it's important to me that I give access to myself to others, and let them know that you can reach out to me. You can ask me any question. I'm always there for you, and if there's anything that I can do to assist, that's what I'm here for. And I think that's the most important thing that we can do, because everybody is on social media now. So just to say that I'm going to be more visible on social media, that's not necessarily what I would consider something that is going to make any kind of difference. I think right now, with everybody being exposed to social media in the ways that they are, I think now we have to do something a little more personable, so it's important that I reach out and touch, the Stephanie Stevens. I want to reach out and touch people and let them know that Summer Breeze is a person that they can definitely count on, and they can reach out to and ask anything.
Okay, I'm going to ask you something on a personal level now, because I really, when we talked about this, we were trying to figure out whether we're going to put this in the questions or not. I want to talk about RuPaul's Drag Race and how she has changed the industry in a good way, in a really bad way. As far as the young children go. But now, I want to know what Summer Breeze, Miss Royal Continental Plus's thoughts are on RuPaul and drag. And not necessarily that she has not shown the trans women, which we all know 80% of the girls in the States are enhanced in some form or another.
Mhm.
Now, I want to know, the question is, what do you think about RuPaul and that drag industry she's created?
Well, first I want to point out she is starting to open her doors to the trans community. Sasha Colby is currently, I believe, on the show as we speak, or at least she's on the last filmed season. And I think that is a delight, because you shouldn't, ostracize anyone, especially when we're already a community that is we're a sub community. And I think when you bring something about, you need to kind of keep the floodgates open for everybody and welcome everybody. But to answer your question as far as the positives versus the negatives, I never really gave much thought on how it impacts the community or the entertainment realm negatively. It's a delight. I have many, acquaintances and friends who have been on the show, who have done very well in their personal lives because of the show. I'm gonna tell you where I think the negative is, and it's not necessarily from RuPaul. I think the negative now is from the bar owners who book the girls, because now someone from RuPaul's Drag Race can come in and get paid $3,000 and $4,000 to be there, where you're paying your local girl $50 to be there. And I think that is insulting, because just because a person has not been on RuPaul's Drag Race does not mean that they're no longer valid. It doesn't mean that their entertainment value is lesser than. Especially when you get to see some of the RuPaul Drag Race performers in person, and you start understanding, hey, that girl don't even wear breasts, or hips. I'm putting on boobs, I'm putting on hip pads, I probably paint better. You never know. I sew. So we bring in a plethora of talents to the table, and just because we have not been on RuPaul's Drag Race should not diminish our value. And I think that's where the negative is coming from, where the bar owners they're paying you much less than what they're going to pay a girl who's been on RuPaul's Drag Race. Outside of that, I think the platform of RuPaul's Drag Race has done a tremendous job on, putting the spotlight on what we do, and it's opened the doors for, for different other avenues of entertainment that we do, like ballroom. You got HBO now doing a ballroom series. So I don't think there's any negative coming from the actual franchise of RuPaul's Drag Race. I think the negative is coming from the local cities, the bars that's in the local cities, and how they approach, all the girls that they book.
Well, I think in the long run, that's going to have to be approached. I mean, that's going to have to be
addressed
in conversation and addressed for sure, because it's going to create a real problem for bar owners down the road. And it's going to create a real problem for RuPaul booking the girls. So, and for now that the pandemic is here, that's really slowed down a lot of their work.
Yeah,
I can see a lot of the girls online, and when you're a one-hit wonder and you win this prestigious TV title, and you go out into the world, and we see, like you said, they don't wear breasts, they don't wear pads, and they really don't have anything but what they had on the show.
Right.
And then they have to get in front of these audiences every night, where the local girls have been performing for years and giving their all. And you can see the crack in between, this and that. And like you said, we're going to have to address that very soon. But like I said to many of the girls, this has now opened up an opportunity, because you can open your own bars now. You can work together and open up your own bars. Why work for someone else?
That's true.
This is a perfect opportunity for the girls now to have their own spaces.
Oh, I love that. That's a great idea.
And they really need to think about that, because opening up a bar is quite simple when you look into the legal aspects of it. You need a liquor license, a lawyer, and somebody to run the bar. You all know each other already. Why work for $50 when you can put 5 or 6 of you in there? Put your parents at the front door. So your brother can be the security guard. Your cousins can clean the place.
Figure it
Simple.
out.
Figure it out. Exactly. Why make the money for them? Make the money for yourself. That's what I always say.
I love it.
Now, in closing, Miss Royal Continental Plus, I just want to say this. I'm looking forward to seeing you this week, coming up for Continental weekend. And I think you're going to make a fantastic contestant. And you'd be a wonderful winner because you're very knowledgeable and you're very up to date. And that's something that we here at Pronoun TV and the Stephanie Stevens Show look forward to, people who just want to move things forward.
Right.
We've got to stop talking and start having action with everything that we do. And Continental is the first step. And I like that Continental really is about winning. And then Jim Flint wants to see some action.
Yeah, I know he does. I know he does.
I just want to say thank you so much, Miss Royal Continental Plus, Miss Summer Breeze, and hopefully we'll get to see some of your wonderful fashions. We know that you dress many of a lot of the pageant queens.
Yeah.
And is that your full-time profession?
That is full time for me. It is full time.
Well, you've created a lot of beautiful things for the girls to wear, and I look forward to meeting you in person. I'm sure one of these Continental pageants, they've been pushing me and poking me in the back. I said, I'm 60 and I got this show and I got all these things to do. I don't have time for pageants, but you never know, I might slip through Elite.
Well, yeah, you at least come to see it, come to see it. And especially since you are doing, interviews, it'd be great to actually, have you there physically and you meet everybody and people get to know you and all of that. I think that it would definitely do wonders for, what you do.
The show. Yeah, the show's doing really well. And I'm blessed. So
Great.
I just want to say thank you so much, Miss Royal Continental Plus, Miss Summer Breeze, for being on the show and enlightening us a little bit about Continental and about what you do. And the fact of just being yourself, Stephen Blue.
Stephen Blue. That's
Stephen
it.
Blue. All the way from Palm Springs, California.
And it's hot.
Oh.
It's hot here, baby.
Thank you so much, Summer Breeze, for dropping in and checking in. And we will see you Continental weekend, and good luck.
Thank you so much.
Good luck. And I have a good feeling about things.
Oh.
So thank you for this interview, and we will chat soon. Thank you, Mr. Stephen Blue, AKA Summer Breeze, Miss Royal Continental Plus. Good night. Thank you, girl.
Good night. Thank you.
I can never get this to, there we go.